Do you ever wish you felt totally in charge of your own life? Well, today I'm breaking down all the habits, tips, and tricks, or let's just call this the ultimate guide on how I became super independent in my 20s, from finances, solo traveling, personal growth, adventures, and so much more. Some might call independence a blessing in disguise. For me, it was definitely something I craved, especially when moving to New York City for the first time, not knowing a single person here, but being able to pay my rent for the first time really felt freeing. And if you told me I was gonna fly on an airplane like 14 hours all by myself when I was in my teenage years, I would have not believed you. In this video, we're gonna be going over 5 pillars that I personally think help you to be independent in your 20s. And I'm also gonna be giving you 2 bonus tips at the end of this video. So stay tuned, grab your notebook, and let's build your independence blueprint. Because this is the ultimate guide. This is also a topic I'm very passionate about, as I have a whole entire outline for this video. I spent a lot of time on this and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get on into it. The first pillar is stepping out of your comfort zone. It is pretty commonly known now that stepping out of your comfort zone and getting uncomfortable equals growth. So just remember, discomfort equals growth. At first, it might be the most nerve-wracking experience ever, moving out to a new town or going to a restaurant or a cafe by yourself. But as you start to build that habit, it doesn't become as scary, and that becomes more of second nature to you in your comfort zone. Another big one of this could be moving out, and you don't have to obviously go out of state or anything crazy. A lot of my friends have discomfort just moving to their college campus in state as well, just being in a new environment. It could even be the town next door to you. Just changing up your environment creates discomfort. I remember when I first moved here to New York, it felt very much like a movie, but at the same exact time, I was very uncomfortable the first few days here because I had to make all new friends. I was going to college orientation with the most open mind as possible. And when I first moved here from my small town, I wouldn't have considered myself as much as an extrovert as I am now, because I kind of stayed friends with my 3 main friends back in my hometown and limited my circle a lot. I was also doing online community college back at home, so I really narrowed my circle down. But the first day of college here, when I transferred, it was very much intense, social, small groups, activities, getting to know each other, icebreaker questions. It was all very uncomfortable to me, but at the same exact time, I knew if I didn't participate, I would have literally no friends. So I was trying to be super talkative and getting to meet as many people as possible. And that's how I really started building my community here when I first moved. I remember my anxiety was so high that day. I remember all the way towards the end of it, and after meeting so many people, I felt so good about myself and also really proud of myself. I feel that's super important to remember, especially when you're doing these stepping out of your comfort zone activities, is to remember the feeling after it. Journal your thoughts before, your worries and stresses about it, and then journal after it as well, and really be present with that feeling of feeling accomplished. The second subunit I would say within this section is to also give yourself micro challenges. I kind of touched on this earlier, but going to a coffee shop by yourself, going to a workout class by yourself, I've learned to love doing that by myself, honestly. I find comfort in going by myself, and I almost prefer going alone rather than with friends. Or going to a museum by yourself, or a small group thing happening in your town, like a network mixer or a club night, fun little things that are happening within your area. I say if you're just starting out, give yourself a goal of doing one of these every single week. Increase it the more you become more comfortable with it. These micro challenges will slowly get built into your routine, which goes into my next sub point in this pillar, which is habit stacking, which is pairing this micro challenge with your current existing routine. Let's say for example, you work at home, maybe one of these days you go to a cafe by yourself. Or if your Sundays are usually more reserved for you to reset and get ready for the week, maybe use that Sunday mood habit and pair it with going to a workout class by yourself or going on a solo little run. I feel integrating these micro challenges within your current base routine really help keep you stepping out of your comfort zone on a regular basis. The next pillar we're gonna get into is financial freedom. I am gonna preference this by saying there's no minimum or maximum amount of money you should have in your 20s. Everyone's on their own path, and everyone's also in completely different situations, to the point where it's hard to just give you an estimate number of the money you should have in your savings account. But there's definitely certain things that you can do to take action and become financially free over a longer period of time. And before we dive into pillar 2 and talk real numbers, I want to give a shout out for today's sponsor of this video, which is Built Rewards. And if you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank me, because earning points on rent is now a reality thanks to Built. And once you start earning these points, you can redeem them towards flights, workout classes, hotel stays, or even your next rent payment. And let me break this down. There's actually no cost to join. It's completely free. And when you pay your rent through Built, you'll earn these valuable points on rent and everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels or airlines, or even some that you haven't haven't even heard of. I think there's over 500 airlines and over 700,000 hotels and properties. And like I said, points can also be redeemed towards future rent payments and even unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, what are you waiting for? Start earning points right now when you use the link down below in the description or the QR code on the screen right now. And make sure to use my URL so they know that I sent you. Huge thank you to Built for sponsoring today's video. I've worked with them in the past and I currently use them right now and pay my rent through Built for this apartment. And I would highly suggest you go check them out. Okay, so now that we're talking of finances, the number one thing I can suggest to you is budget with a purpose. Once again, this is all gonna look different depending on your financial situation, but if I had to suggest something, I would do the 50, 30, and 20 method. 50% goes to your automated savings. This could be for rent or even money just to potentially move out if you're still living with your parents, or money for that car that you really want. I feel like when I started driving, that was a really big independence breaker in my teenage years. 30% will be for your side hustles. This is stuff that revolves around your college or work schedule, health-related things. And then 20% is for just that fun spending money. And depending on your income, this could even be like 10%. This is for like those $5 or $6 lattes when you like to go out and meet a friend, or an occasional shopping spree that you like to do. Or it could just be used as wiggle room because you also don't want to like restrict yourself too much in your budget where you have like no money left after like budgeting it through like all these different aspects of your life. And once again, everyone's financial situations are so different, so I can't really give too much advice, but I feel like creating a helpful budget that works best for you, that has an end goal in mind for you to be financially free, is a super helpful thing when trying to be independent. Pillar 3 is personal growth habits. I feel like this is a really big one in my opinion. If you're currently a student, I feel like you're already kind of working towards personal growth with actively learning throughout all your classes. But if you're not a student, I would highly recommend taking like skill building classes. I mean, honestly, I'm a student and I've looked into skill building classes as well. Like I feel like there's no rules on who and who can't enroll in these. One of the classes I've really been interested in is public speaking classes. That is one of my main goals, is to become really good at public speaking. Or if you ever wanted to take like that Excel class or like a coding class, I feel like that also plays into personal growth. If you finished college, you could also do continuous learning courses, not just a university, but like online programs for like pretty much anything. I feel like you can learn anything on the internet as of right now. Or if you don't want to do like online computer courses, I feel like there's nothing wrong with walking over to your local library and buying books. Make a goal to read like 5 to 10 pages a day, especially if they're like nonfiction, historical, or like information self-improvement based books. And just reading a couple pages a day will really help you grow as a person. This goes into pillar 4, which is self-discovery practices, which is basically picking up that journal and just writing. It is so easy and accessible now to find journal prompts as well. If you just search up on Pinterest or just Google journal prompts in general, so much comes up. And I feel like there is such a rich and high value when it comes to journaling out your thoughts, opinions, your values, your ideal day, or your energy, just like literally anything. And speaking from personal experience, when I'm currently journaling a lot about my thoughts and feelings and I'm very much in touch with those, I start to really understand myself more as a person. And once I have a really good understanding of myself, I feel even more confident to go out and do things by myself, or meet and talk to new people, or investing in yourself, which we're gonna get into later. But all those things come even more naturally when you know where you stand with yourself. And this is kind of off topic, but not even, but I feel like you have to have a relationship with yourself before you have relationships with others. And there's such a gift of confidence that comes with getting to know yourself. Another self-discovery practice could be a solo day trip or solo travel trip. Why not get lost on purpose in a little trip by yourself? I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Like, I don't want you guys getting lost because of my advice. Because if you're traveling by yourself, there's obviously a lot of like safety precautions and stuff that comes with just traveling alone. And let me know if you want to see a whole entire video dedicated to like solo traveling. I could really reflect on some of my experiences. But like I said, if a huge trip is a little daunting to you, or if it's financially not in your budget, there is nothing wrong with doing a day trip. This could include doing all those micro challenges like all in one day, like going to grab a coffee by yourself, driving to the beach or to a park nearby, bring your journal, sit there by yourself, then go get food after and head home. Like, it could just be something as simple as that, just a day all to yourself. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on in self-discovery is the try something new rule. But instead of going to a coffee shop, make it like a hobby-based thing or like a passion type project thing, and do one of these new hobbies like every month. Like, something I really want to do is go to a pottery class all by myself, or going to like a jewelry making class. I feel like there's such a gift with craft making hobbies, and I really want to get get into that, and that also plays into like self-discovery. The last and the fifth pillar we're going to be talking about is investing in yourself. And I think I lied earlier in this video by saying pillar 3 or 4 was the most important, but I actually think pillar 5 is the most important thing you can do. If you're going to take anything from this video, listen to everything I'm about to say for pillar 5. Prioritizing yourself is probably the most important thing you can do. Like prioritizing a good sleep schedule, having a balanced diet so you're healthy and feeling confident, and then also staying up to date with like your health stuff. This could be like doctor visits, dentist visits, or seeing your therapist. I feel like having this as the backbone makes everything else in this video possible. It's also like that thing I said earlier in this video, like you have to have a relationship with yourself before you have a relationship with others. You also have to have good health in order to live life. I feel like the second thing you can do that ties into investing in yourself is networking. It doesn't have to be that professional, like conferences or getting LinkedIn connections. I mean, those things are all helpful, and I think they're very much important when trying to build your social circle and networking circle. But relationships hold such high value in everyone's life, and I feel like the more you become independent with yourself, the more you're going to want really deep and meaningful relationships, whether that's a really good supportive group of like coworkers or something within your work life, but also just like close friends in general that can almost be like your family, especially if you're no longer living with your family. I feel like networking also moves you up in life. I mean, obviously, like if you're networking really well within your business or company and you're moving up, that's also really, really good. That will also help you become more independent and probably financially free as well. But I also feel like there's the same exact importance with leveling up and moving up within friendships and building out your social circle. I feel like that is so crucial in your 20s, early, mid, and late 20s. As someone who's in their early 20s, at 22 years old, there is nothing I value more than my friends. My friends here in New York are like my family because I no longer live with my parents. And I know they're only a FaceTime call away, but there's just moments where you need friends and meaningful connections in your life. And also just having a good group of people helps make navigating your 20s a lot less alone. But those are my 5 pillars, and we're gonna get into 2 little bonus tips. The first one, I already kind of touched on this, but it is building a supportive circle. This ties a little bit into networking. I feel like one of the most important things you can do is to pick friends who value your independence goals and also respects them as well. There is no secret that the people you hang around makes you the person who you become. And ever since moving to New York, I've met the most amazing people through the YouTube and social media events I get to go to, through my college, with really smart and gifted individuals. And I feel like within New York, a lot of the people who live here are already very independent people. So I personally didn't have a hard time choosing friends who respect my independent goals, because if anything, all my friends are very independent because they all kind of moved here like from out of state for the most part. But if you're from like a smaller town, try to seek out those types of people. Out of your friends, who do you inspire and look up to the most is what you kind of want to ask. Also, maybe just reevaluate some friendships as well. Like ask yourself, does this friendship really benefit me? Is it making me a better person or a worse person? Is this friend holding me back from certain things? I feel like really stepping back and taking a look and analyzing your friend group and choosing to build a supportive circle with like-minded people will really help you become more independent in your 20s. And there's no reason to like cut out certain friendships, especially if they're not toxic. But it really helped when I moved away from my hometown friends and moved to New York, because I'm also comparing myself to who I was with my hometown friends versus the ones here, and it's just like I'm so much more content doing things alone when I'm here. The second bonus tip I have in here is kind of silly. I would say it's almost like second nature, but if you are missing practical life skills, I don't see a problem with Googling a YouTube video to sharpen up on some cooking basics or car maintenance things or like taxes like 101. I feel like those things are so underrated, but once again, it really helps when trying to become super independent, because then you don't have to rely on other people to do that for you. I keep using moving out as an example, but it was one of the biggest things that helped me become independent. But like cooking, for example, like when I was living with my parents, a lot of the times they're always just making dinner. Now that I live here, it's like I always have to cook dinner for myself. That's like what you have to do when you move out. But maybe learn how to cook a few meals by yourself if you live with your parents. Like honestly, what's the harm with learning those certain life skills? And then by the time you're gonna move out, you'll be like so prepared with cooking meals, and you're not even gonna have to like think or learn like how to do that by the time you're on your own, because you already spent time learning that when you're at home. And that is my current blueprint on how to be independent in your 20s. And let's do a little recap of everything we learned in this video and everything you can do starting today to move one step closer to being independent in your 20s. Here is my action plan for you. Number 1, do a weekly comfort zone challenge. Number 2, set up a budget and automated savings account tonight. Number 3, schedule one learning block this week, like reading a book or taking an online course. Number 4, my self-discovery journal prompt for you is what makes me feel the most alive. Number 5, do some self-investment with getting some good sleep tonight. And number 6 is to reach out to one inspiring person. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, thank you Built Rewards for sponsoring. Use the link down below so they know that I sent you. And if you made it up to the end of this video, comment down below this secret emoji. I like to see who's actually watching up to the end of my videos in the comments down below. And then also follow me on Instagram at Katelyn_. I would really appreciate it. And also like this video if you want to see more like self-help or improvement videos. I don't know. This is kind of a new video format for me. But if you guys really like this and you want to see more videos on other topics like this, please let me know, comment down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye!